You know, at Who Weekly, we're always diving into the latest rumors, like who's dating who, and who'll be on the next season of our favorite show. Well, here's one rumor we need to squash. The idea that Discover isn't widely accepted. Truth is, Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. That means it's accepted basically anywhere across the country. Don't pay attention to every rumor out there, but remember, it does pay to Discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
You will dream it.
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey,
Come on.
hey, I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger,
I'm Lindsay Weber.
and I have a lot of options for things to start with, and honestly, none of them are good. And I was just like, which one am I going to start with? So here's the first one. I was going to choose one. None of them are good, so I'm going to do all four.
I'm sorry, none of them are good, so you're going to do all of them? How about none of them?
Number one, Daily Mail. Welcome to the future. Rebel Wilson's lunch is delivered by a robot as she gets her hair done in Los Angeles.
No.
Okay. No? Okay.
No.
Next one. Kim Zolciak-Bierman claps back at Instagram trolls who accused her of, quote, altering her face.
That's
Okay,
all that woman does. No.
but that I thought was funny because it reminds me of this Us Magazine headline, Us Weekly headline that was 13 times Paulina Perzakova revealed what she, quote, actually looks like.
No, that one I'm interested in. What 13 times?
And then the fourth one was Dua Lipa shared a sexy selfie to celebrate her role as Evian's new global ambassador.
Oh, that one I did see because the photo of her is just she's lying down and there's a bottle of Evian in front
There's
of
a
her.
bottle of Evian in front of her.
And I laughed at it so much.
I hate that some sites link out and some sites don't, and it's like Us Weekly should know better. Like, link out
know.
to Dua Lipa's Instagram whenever you post about Dua Lipa's Instagram. Her Instagram caption was really funny. I had to go to it because Us Weekly wouldn't let me click on anything. It says CEO of Hydration / Global Ambassador for Evian Water. Call me,
CEO of
beat
Hydration.
me. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. # stay hydrated.
I do appreciate like the lull about it all, like to be the CEO of Hydration instead of being like, I'm the creative director of BlackBerry or like whatever stupid thing that is obviously fake. We know this is a fake title because it's a fake thing. But the funniest thing truly is the way she's posed, which is just she's literally lying on her side, like sprawled out. And there's just a bottle. There's like a bottle of Evian just in front of her. Like she's not drinking it or anything.
It's a half full bottle of Evian.
So you assume that she drank that other half, but we don't know.
Or she poured it somewhere. And then Evian
Somewhere.
commented, welcome to the Evian family, heart. But then the heart's like, it's like if you put an eggplant and then the emoji with the like,
Oh, the splash.
with the water
sweat.
splash, the
The
sweat.
sweat. Yeah.
But now I think they're using it as, there's so many
They're
different ways to
trying.
use this. They're using this
They're
as
trying.
splash. They're using it as a splash.
They're trying. You know what Evian is backwards.
Naive.
Yeah. Just saying.
Wow.
Okay, let's
Is your
actually
drug
start
rug
the
on?
show. Let's start the... That's from Reality Bites. Janine Garofalo says that. Anyways, a classic line.
Okay, this is Who's There, our weekly call-in show where we take your questions, comments, concerns, and a whole lot of other types of calls at 619-WHO-THEM. Let's just begin here. Why not?
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby. Long time. I'm just listening to your talk about M&Ms and the sort of who and them status of different types of M&Ms. And there's a talk about the green M&M being the color that is sort of the demiest. But I would actually make a motion for the red M&M being the demiest, and that's because there's actually like a long history of controversy surrounding the red M&M. So in 1978 or so, the red M&M was actually banned and well, discontinued due to fear over the red dye being a carcinogenic. And so the red M&M disappeared for 8 years. It went into hiding. And then in 1985, this sort of freshman at the University of Tennessee launched this massive campaign. He wrote to Ronald Reagan. He wrote to the FDA. He wrote to the M&M Corporation and asked them to reinstate the red M&M. And in Christmas 1985, there's a massive rollout. The red M&M reappeared back into the mix. There was a massive sort of PR campaign. Everyone was rejoicing. And ever since then, it sort of has ridden that wave of popularity. So the red M&M, the themiest M&M. All right, crunch, crunch. Bye.
Wow. Thank you to renowned historian Howard Zinn for calling the podcast and giving us full thesis.
A people's history of Mars candy.
A people's history of the red M&M, who has obviously been through so much. I mean, if you've experienced marketing, which I think you have in our modern capitalist society, you've experienced like the taking away and giving back of things. Like brands love to like take away and give back a thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The demand for red M&M coming back and red M&M coming back, of course, was probably iconic because like that literally is marketing. Wow.
I know, that's the Disney Vault. That's the masterclass.
That's true. That's the Disney
What if we
Vault.
only let you buy Aladdin for like 2.5 years and then it goes away?
But then we brought it back 4 years later because some guy wrote to his governor or whatever. Just kidding.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan.
But who wanted the M&M back, the red M&M back so badly?
Wasn't Ronald Reagan's whole thing like I love candy? Wasn't he like a big jelly bean?
Well,
Didn't
I'm
he have
just
like jelly
confused.
beans all the time?
Do these people not realize that all M&Ms taste the same? Like the standard ones, despite their color? Like not to be rude about it, but all that work seems like a waste. They all taste the same.
You know where the person came from? Tennessee. It was just a college student in Tennessee.
What year again?
It just says in the early 80s. In the early
Okay,
80s, he
so
was a
here's
bored
the
college
thing.
student. Mm-hmm.
Boomers and Gen X love this red M&M, but Gen Z and millennials stand green M&M, and there's no going back because she's sexy.
Well, the green M&M flaunts her sexuality. She owns her sexuality.
She owns it, and
She's
we love
not
that.
afraid to like
Yes.
explore
She's
that
a
part
proud
of
and
herself.
strong feminist.
Yeah.
Yes, green M&M would have been in. She would have been in the WAP video if she'd been asked.
The green M&M is far too famous to be in the WAP video. You know, like Cardi and Megan wanted to lift sort of new people
You're
up.
right. The green M&M is more famous than Normani. That's true.
I'm sorry, she is. She's more famous than Kylie. Everyone
I
in the
know,
world
but
knows who the green M&M is. They're like, oh, the sexy one. Me in Russia. You know the green M&M? And they're like, oh, the sexy one? They're getting their like vaccine. Oh, the sexy one, you mean? Yes.
The red M&M is to boomers and Gen X maybe what the green M&M is to Gen Z and what are they? Gen Z and millennials, because we stand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. It's irrelevant. I'm just trying to distinguish between the who thems of the M&Ms based on generation. I think I got it pretty much down. Thank you for this information.
Yes, thank you for this. Also, a lot of people called in about M&M's minis tubes, and to the caller who asked if I also used to huff the tubes because they always smelled really good. Yes.
So many fully honest and fully emotionally present calls about M&M tubes. Like, I'm just so proud
Like
of you.
it's not my
people
past,
for-
it's my present. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay Bobby. Just had to pause the show and let you know that legless is British and Anglo-English slang for really, really drunk. I know you get a ton of calls about this. I feel like it's going to be another Memphis moose track situation, but just wanted to let you know. Thanks for all that you do. Crunch, crunch.
Legless means drunk. Mothers do belong on Mars. Crunch, crunch.
To be legless means to get like absolutely shit-face wasted. Crunch, crunch.
Hi, Who Weekly. Medium time, first time. I just am phoning in to confirm or clarify what legless means. In the UK, that means really drunk or wasted. And it reminded me of a Brit Awards in 1999 when Fatboy Slim won an award and he held up a piece of paper that said speechless, and everyone was like, that is so clever, what a guy. And then Robbie Williams won an award and he held up a sign saying legless. And it was so funny it got into the papers. So that was 1999. Anyway, crunch crunch, me and Grace.
This was referring to Katie Price losing both her feet in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she didn't lose them, but they broke. And she was legless, and they called her drunk. They called her legless as a gag because she had no legs for that moment. And also she was drunk, maybe drunk.
Maybe drunk.
Or like they were referring to a time when she was drunk.
This is like British slang that I understand immediately. It's British slang.
No, I
They
fully
say,
get it.
oh,
It's
means
gorgeous.
You know, you lose your balance, you're shaky, you can't
Yes.
stand. I get it. You're legless. This is a great one,
I love
Brits.
it.
You did it.
Love it.
You did
You
it.
did it again. You did it again. No, they do. Every time they do it, they do it again. And the other thing is, I don't think we emphasized, but after the show, when I was, Googling around about Katie Price when I was editing it, I cannot stress enough how many people think that she actually had bunion surgery and she didn't break both her ankles. They think she's
That's the conspiracy
covering
theory.
up.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to cover up for bunion surgery, like it was an embarrassing or shameful thing, but that's what people think that she's doing. And she's like, bunions? Never heard of them. Anyways, it's great.
Hi, Lindsay Bobby. Medium time, third time. I'm obsessed with the idea of Kawhi Leonard being a Who Weekly Who because obviously he's very much a basketball them. But we basically know so little about him, and what we do know is already really weird. Like, he'll do trash talk to other players that doesn't even make sense to people, like just randomly saying the word bucket as trash talk, and people are just confused. So basically at this point, we'll believe any story about Kawhi Leonard. Like, anything would be plausible to us. So last year, this comedian tweeted a fake screenshot, and it looked like it was a screenshot from a real article. And it said, recently at a team dinner, Kawhi took out a bag of 12 apples and proceeded to eat them one by one with a knife and fork, saying, apple time, apple time. And at this point, everyone's just like, okay, yeah, we believe that, sure. Apple time, apple time. Okay, that's it. That's my Kawhi Leonard Apple story.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that kind assessment. I got a few texts about this basketball player being like, yes, no one really knows anything about him, but he is extraordinarily popular and good at the sport. So, like, that makes it even more compelling that he's so mysterious.
He's very good. So I got a text from my friend who said, Kawhi was in the Spurs for 5 years and won a championship. Your brother is probably the preeminent Kawhi journalist. I bet he has weird stories, or he could be the most boring person ever. And I was like, wow.
So it turns out your brother is the expert that we've been looking for.
You're right. I didn't put the Spurs thing together, and my brother is a sports journalist. My big brother is a sports writer in Central Texas, and he has been for like 20 years, and he knows more about the Spurs than anyone. So I was like, wait, why didn't I text Mike about Kawhi Leonard? And so I did, and I was like, hey, here's what happened. Kawhi Leonard was related to January Jones, and then we talked about Kawhi Leonard, and I was like, I did some research, but it seems like he's not interesting. And then we get a lot of calls saying like, actually, he's like really great and funny and and like, yeah, he's boring, but whatever. And my brother said, he said a lot. Then he said this. But like, to do your Who explanation, he's basically known for being extremely good at basketball while displaying zero personality or emotion. His shoe deal is with New Balance. The Onion has played off it for years. And then he sent me this Onion story, which the headline is, Kawhi Leonard worried he's succumbing to glitzy LA lifestyle after purchasing flashy 2016 Subaru. And then it says...
Oh, like the joke is that like his shoe line is fucking New Balance.
It's
like,
boring
it's
as hell.
basic.
Yes, he's like, it's New Balance. And then he says, if anyone disputes your assessment, you can say you got approval from someone who's talked to Kawhi more than 100 times.
My favorite thing is that Stephanie sent me this clip of him, and they ask him, they say like, wow, what were you thinking during that basket? And then his answer is like, I dribbled two times and then I jumped really high.
Be sure to send me that so I can put that in. Wait, yeah.
I will.
Kawhi, can you take us through the dunk you had in the block?
What do you want me to say?
Whatever you want to say. It's just more of just the build-up lead into that play, what you were seeing, and your thought process with everything.
Patrick threw me the ball. I took 2 dribbles to the paint and tried to jump high and dunk the basketball. And Kemba got it open for a 3, and I jumped to my highest to try to contest, and I got a block.
But anyways, it's he sounds like honestly a delight, and it's nice to have a little mystery in your the people you care about. You know, like the truly the funniest thing about it is that everyone's like, this is somebody who everyone in basketball knows, but nobody outside of basketball knows because he's so quiet and so like to himself that you only know because you care about the game. Bobby and I wouldn't know. He's not a celebrity.
And that's to us, but that's one of the things my brother was saying, because he was like, people are going to like the players they're going to like. You don't really need an explanation for it. And I was like, oh, yeah, same. That's how I feel about Dakota Johnson. So, you know.
But I would kind of argue that he's like a known basketball player, but not a celebrity. That's what I more mean. Like, he wouldn't.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a celebrity. Like, he doesn't get covered outside of sports media in a way that would make him a celebrity.
Because he doesn't really do anything, yeah.
Right. And even the things that he does do that are traditionally like things that celebrities do, he doesn't do in a way that are flashy or like attention getting. Like, I'm sure New Balance is like, can you say more, do more stuff? Can you like, can you That's very charming. I guess we have to stand. I don't watch basketball. I'm never gonna come in contact with this guy again. But
Yeah, I
we stand.
suppose. Also, I didn't realize that New Balance was funny until my brother said his shoe deal is with New Balance with like disdain.
Right, like out of all brands.
It really is funny when you think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Bobby, Destiny's Child covered A New Way to Walk on Sesame Street. You should have mentioned that. Crunch, crunch.
You should have mentioned.
I should have mentioned it, but it's good.
I don't think he knew.
I didn't know. I didn't watch.
Don't know shit.
This is like I wasn't watching Sesame Street when Destiny's Child was still together, but this is cute. Here we go.
I know you'd have to either be a child or have a child.
I got a new way to walk. Walk, walk. I got a new way to walk. Walk, walk. I got a new way to walk. And my new walk suits me fine.
So I watched the full clip of it, and this is the part I like the most. Wait, let me play it.
It's Destiny's Child. Oh, hi, Beyonce. Hi, Kelly.
I just like that Michelle's last. Hi, Beyonce.
Bye, Michelle.
Hi, Beyonce. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Michelle.
There's somebody down there reading off a piece of paper with their names on it. You know, I have to say, sometimes on this show, we just don't know things. It's not that we don't care about them. We just don't know them. I think people forget.
This video of Destiny's Child singing New Way to Walk with Elmo, Grover, and whatever that other one is, the orange one, whatever,
yeah. Who cares?
has 50 million views. That's more than a lot of Dua Lipa videos.
That's more than a lot of Destiny's Child videos. Or some. That's definitely more than a lot of solo career Michelle Williams videos.
Hey.
I
wonder how many views Coffee has. Remember how good Coffee was? What a good song.
Coffee by who? By Michelle?
No, Kelly Rowland.
Oh.
Remember?
I don't. It's like 2 months old, 1 month old.
April.
Came out in June.
Early April.
That's pretty good for a few months old. Come on. Mid-pandemic. That's pretty good.
I'm going to play a clip of it here, but Coffee is amazing. The wordplay in Coffee, had there not been a pandemic, we would all just be celebrating coffee. It's great.
Soon as we wake up, wish we could lay up. Still stack our pay up. You running labor. Need you to stay up. It's almost safe. No time to waste. No time to waste.
Hi, Weekly. So I'm calling because of the call from this Friday's episode about Nina Dobrev and the Activia commercial. So I actually met Jamie Lee Curtis at the Mall of America, and she got fired from Activia. She told me she was doing like a book. Sorry, I'm really high right now. But she was doing like a book signing for some children's book. And I like went, and when I got on stage, I was like, I love your yogurt commercials, and she was like, they fired me, fuckers. Living La Vida laptop. This is a nightmare.
Probably the best tip we've received that hasn't had a "don't play this" in front of it in eons. No, like definitely. And what's funny is, as this person was talking, I could see this in an Us Weekly article being like, a source told. A source says that Jamie Lee Curtis at a book signing in the Mall of America. At a book signing in Mall of America said, they fired me. And honestly, as somebody who's been to the Mall of America once in the morning time, Bobby was there. It is such a surreal place in general, but like to be there, meeting Jamie Lee Curtis and her being like, I got fired from the Activia commercial. I can't imagine. Like, you say you're on drugs now, but like I would feel like I was on drugs. Anyways, it's not about Mall of America. This is about Jamie Lee Curtis getting supposedly and reportedly, according to Jamie Lee Curtis, fired.
I got fired
from Activia for younger gut. A younger gut walked on up, and they said, we don't need your old ass gut anymore.
We tested your microbiome, and you know what? Not as diverse as Nina's.
Catherine Zeta-Jones designed a mosquito repellent shawl and is auctioning off one signed by her. Crunch, crunch.
She didn't design it. This is the shawl that we've talked about on the podcast before. that she's obsessed with. She talked about it in her strategist piece. She just bought one of those, signed it, and then put it up for celebrity auction. Did you see everything that's on the celebrity auction?
I mean, the funny thing about this is it isn't even the weirdest celebrity item on this list of celebrity items.
No.
Like Catherine Zeta-Jones signing a mosquito net shawl, and putting it on this site is not even the weirdest thing on this list of things. Because you also have Roxane Gay's quote unused pink Bose headphones, and you have Nikki Hilton's dress, but then not even just Nikki Hilton's dress. You have like Nikki Hilton's coat as borrowed by Paris or whatever. Did you see that? Nikki Hilton's Marc Jacobs jacket that Paris borrowed, and then I think my all-time favorite though is Susie Orman's signature leather jackets. She gave them 2 signature leather jackets where if you you're like, where are these jackets from? I mean, I'm paying for jackets. They're from Theory and Escada Sport. And she says, to me, these jackets represent freedom individually and the empowerment to wear something that makes you feel good.
Okay.
Those 3 things are truly priceless because they're characteristics that make you who you are. Imagine saying that about jackets, 2 leather jackets.
Her 2 leather jackets are currently at $258 for both. Yeah. Catherine Zeta-Jones's shawl is currently at $276. You know what's at $405? Yeah. Peppa's snowboard that says "Push It Real Good" on it. It's signed. Now that is a celebrity auction piece.
I mean, I love the idea of a celebrity auction. I think it's for charity too. That obviously makes it even better. But I have to say, we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of stuff here, because
Roxane Gay looking through her house like, here's some headphones I got for free.
I have to say the best thing on this list though is Sweetie donated her Air Force Ones that say my type on them in like graffiti text, and these are actually fucking rare and cool.
I didn't see
She wore them in the video. Yeah, she wore them in the video.
There they are.
Like these are sick. I wouldn't give these away. Anyways, very nice.
Those are already at $700.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next call. Oh wait. So then someone also called about this. Speaking of Catherine Zeta-Jones, did you hear this? Wait, watch.
Oh no.
Hi, Who Weekly. So I work at a major financial institution, like a bank, but it's not a bank. Anyway, I'm doing my annual money laundering training right now, which is, as you can imagine, so fun. And one thing that it talks about is how if a business, if its like mailing address is not a real mailing address, that's like a huge red flag for money laundering. So I think I'm going to have to red flag Casa Zeta-Jones for money laundering because, as we all know, that location Staten Island doesn't exist. Thanks for keeping money laundering off the streets, Who Weekly. It only can happen because of people like you. Grey Poupon is a who.
Now I feel bad.
You
now
feel
we're
bad?
narcs. Yeah, we're fucking narcs now.
I mean, catchy when they actually open an investigation of Casa Zeta-Jones. I don't think this person is actually going to, do any investigating.
Well, I'm very conflicted because, one, I would love to learn how to money launder. Like, I would love to learn how to do it, what it is, the telltale signs, etc. And then 2, I don't want to narc out Catherine Zeta-Jones money laundering because I can't imagine it's that much money for these items that she's selling. Yeah. It's not that much money. The government does not want they don't want it. It's not worth their time.
They want the big score.
Right. So it's not worth it. I will say a lot of people did look into this for us, people who love like real estate research and stuff like that. And no one had any credible leads to figure this out. So it's still an open case.
No one.
Not
a single person.
So interesting.
Pretty interesting. Okay. Next call. This is a sub-segment of the comment section, which is We Were Wrong. This is We Were Wrong. I was wrong, and also Lindsay was wrong. Here's me being wrong. We got so many calls about both of these, and I was just very wrong. We were so wrong. What is that, Prometheus? We were so wrong. We were so wrong.
Okay.
We were so wrong.
Hey, Lindsay and Bobby, just wanted to let you know, you guys were talking about Reese's Pieces, and Bobby mentioned that they perfected the chocolate to peanut butter ratio. But there actually isn't any chocolate in Reese's Pieces, and I know this because I used to give up chocolate for Lent every year, and I would kind of cheat a little bit by eating Reese's Pieces instead of M&Ms. All right, that's all I wanted to let you know.
So many
Bobby,
people were like,
have you even eaten a Reese's? Do you even know what a Reese's is?
Yeah, it's
Sounds like you don't.
it's literally my favorite movie theater candy. But the thing is, it's just the peanut
there's no
butter.
chocolate. But you thought there was chocolate. Why did you think there was chocolate?
I guess I just thought that was a very, very thin chocolate shell, but there's actually nothing.
Okay, but does the chocolate shell count as chocolate? Because I would argue that like it kind of does.
Well, they're saying there's no chocolate at all, that it's not a chocolate shell, it's just a candy shell.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Isn't that weird?
This is your Shazam moment or whatever. What is that thing where you misremember something? Berenstain Bears? Mandela effect, where you thought there was chocolate in it, but there never was chocolate.
Yeah. It was never chocolate. Berenstain Bears. Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain Bears.
Bernstein Bears.
Look up Mandela effect. You'll know what we're talking about. I'm not getting into it. Why was I wrong? How was I wrong?
Okay, I'll tell you how you were wrong.
We were so wrong.
Hi, Lindsay, Bobby. I have paused the podcast. So you're talking about The Bachelorette right now and how the plans for filming are unsure. And they're actually filming right now in Palm Springs. They rented out a whole resort in La Quinta. And it just gets crazier and crazier because apparently more people from the franchise just keep popping up. So there are rumors that, like, Tayshia was already replaced by Hannah Ann, who was already replaced by Becca Copeland, who recently dumped her racist-ass boyfriend. So anyways, it's just wild. Crunch, crunch, thanks.
Well, Lindsay, you said they weren't filming, but it turns out they've been holed up in a La Quinta the entire time.
I don't know who to feel bad for, myself or them. That sounds miserable. Bobby actually texted me and said this might be the first season that I watch because they're cooped up in La Quinta, and it seems like whatever this season is going to be, it's going to be insane. And he's right, because like all the things that The Bachelor normally does goes on these little trips, like
helicopters,
hometown visits and all these romantic places. What are they going to do? Like go to the hot tub, go back, go to the pool, go back,
go to the courtyard,
room, go back. Like, what are they going to
go to their kitchenette
in this La Quinta?
Well, everyone was calling and saying, like, they're at a La Quinta in Palm Springs. They're at a La Quinta in Palm Springs. They're holed up. I'm imagining a roadside La Quinta. And I was like, that's hysterical. Well, there's a La Quinta resort in Palm Springs that's like a fancy resort. But I was picturing like a motel with like continental breakfast.
It's just funny, so many Bachelor fans calling and being like, they're staying in La Quinta. It's like, okay.
You know, a show that is being filmed now, with the topicality of COVID, like, being on their minds and, like, everything being in turmoil, right? Like, Claire left, this person saying Tayshia's gone too. Like, maybe there's going to be multiple replacements, like, high drama.
Wait, Tayshia's gone?
Tayshia's gone. This person says apparently Tayshia may have gotten replaced too. So there may be double replacements throughout the season of this.
Uh-oh.
Like, that sounds actually fun to watch.
But here's the thing. I only care about this until it actually starts, because as far as we're concerned for this show, I don't want any of the actual narrative of the show to be relevant. The only thing that's relevant is the production as it pertains to coronavirus, which makes it slightly novel. You know, otherwise, this is not a Bachelor recap podcast.
An epidemiologist would say that there's no levels of novelty, Lindsay. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry. Coronavirus is novel. I'm saying the Bachelor situation is slightly novel. Anyways, it's like, this does not become a Bachelor recap podcast. There are plenty of those. It's like, we will just care about the business, like, swirling around this, because I only care about, like, the logistics of creating a Bachelor mid-pandemic, which seems to be very difficult.
Yeah. This just moves on to, you know, Simon Calbrook was back, and then Kelly Clarkson has already gotten a lot of press for taking his place. And I was like,
does that relate to this?
I was just like, taking his place for what? They're not filming anything, but they are. It's LA.
They're
filming it. And so I was
they're definitely filming stuff.
This is just a reminder that, like, Hollywood is sort of slowly starting to work again. And we're going to start seeing new shows that were filmed during all of this, but still not many. And so I feel like when Bachelor finally premieres, it's going to be ahead of the game in a way. We're all just going to watch it because it's like, oh, wow, new content.
The only thing that's on. Well, the other thing is, like, only some of these things are going to even allude to the fact that being filmed at this time is weird and what's going on. And this might,
trapped.
but I don't think the others will. And that's why I was so disappointed when someone told me that they're pushing back Love Island UK. but they are filming Love Island US. I have no interest in Love Island US, but Love Island UK would be fascinating if they start talking about coronavirus on Love Island UK, but like they're not even doing it. It's not safe. And they're being very safe. So it's one of those things where we'll have to see what ends up coming out, and nothing will drop till the fall. I mean, I know they're going to fast track a lot of these things, but nothing, especially The Bachelor, won't come out till next year, even some of it.
If they had a date, we would know by now. Like, I could see them maybe doing a surprise drop where they're like, it premieres next week, surprise everyone. But also, I think the more likely thing is they don't know when it's going to premiere yet.
If they're out of TV, right?
And it probably is like October. Right. Now let's move on to questions. Also, La Quinta Resort, not just like a roadside La Quinta that we've all stayed at a million times.
Whatever, they're not staying in a roadside La Quinta.
It would have been so funny if they had just been in a normal La Quinta and they're just like one hallway of all their rooms.
Yeah. Wouldn't it have been funny?
They're using that like pancake maker, the waffle maker that's on like a continental breakfast where you pour the batter and then it like oozes out. Whatever. Okay. I love a continental breakfast. You know how much I love a continental breakfast. Remember when we got accused of stealing? Okay. Moving on.
The most stressful moment of your life.
When I thought it was a continental breakfast, but it was not.
But we fought back, actually. That was a very brave moment of our lives. Okay.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Can't imagine it any other way. WhoWeekly.us is a Squarespace. It will always be a Squarespace. We love our Squarespace.
Even if they said no more advertising on this podcast, we would still have it be a Squarespace because honestly, it's just the easiest, sanest way to have a website on the internet at this point.
Yeah. I really can't think of another option.
No, I wouldn't even know how to do another option at this point. It's like it is a perfect way. I know they have all the features I need. If there's a new feature that I need somehow in the future, I know that they're going to have it. Mm-hmm. Let's say there's something we need to do on this website that I can't even think of right now. I know that in the future
advances,
that they will have our back.
I trust that Squarespace will keep up.
Well, because right now it's like, we have our tour dates that we're able to change on a whim, which we need to. But Squarespace does plenty of other things. They've got, you could do a course, you could host a course, you could do analytics, you could do email campaigns, you can take payments, you can sell stuff. I mean, it's like we could do whatever we wanted on Squarespace, and I am actually comforted knowing that I could do that in the future.
Yeah.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/who and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. That's 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hi, Lindsay and Bobby. Just calling to ask, there's another Rubi Rose? Ruby with an I?
Thank God there's another Rubi Rose.
I know. This one wasn't cutting it. The one we have just isn't doing it for us anymore.
We needed another one. This one was not doing it for me. Did you see more information came out about her Batwoman thing where she was like, she's given more excuses. There's more information. We don't need more information. We got it. Get out of here. Fine. You don't want to do it.
Let's go. So yes, let's get to Rubi Rose. Ruby with an I, Rubi Rose. She's a rapper. She seems very close to Cardi based on what I can tell. Cardi was influenced to do her OnlyFans because of Rubi Rose. She tweeted, might get rich in OnlyFans like my young girl Ruby, right? Cardi did start she's starting an OnlyFans. She's going to release behind the scenes stuff for a while.
No, I know. And you're right. OnlyFans, we're talking about like literally everything essentially is becoming Patreon.
She has a really good song. Her biggest song is probably called Big Mouth. I'll play a clip here.
Lashes, nails done. I be trying to act out. And I got that pussy that's going to make them leave the trap house glowed up. Probably make more money than my dad now.
It's objectively her biggest song. She was asked by, I think this is like XXL magazine. They said, what's your most slept on song and why? And I love this answer. Big Mouth is my best song and it's slept on. I don't know. I want more girls to hear it. I want to start pulling out more music and get heard more. So this is someone who's like, she wants to be more famous. Let's make her more famous.
She also used to date Playboy Cardi, who recently knocked up Iggy Azalea. Fun fact. He's the father of Iggy Azalea's baby, and they're together. That's Ruby's ex.
What's great about her OnlyFans is that she made like $100,000 on OnlyFans in 2 days and barely even put new content on it. Like most of the content on her OnlyFans was already on her Instagram, and yet she made money anyway.
Well, also to be fair, let's be Rubi Rose, the rapper, is with an I, and Rubi Rose, the artist formerly known as Batwoman, is with a Y.
Yes, French fry Rubi Rose is with a Y. It's funny, like WAP has legs. WAP has legs.
WAP has a lot of body parts.
WAP has a lot of body parts. Okay, next call.
Who is your least favorite cast member on Selling Sunset, and why is it Davina?
Who was your least favorite cast member on Selling Sunset, and why is it Davina? Okay, Lindsay, in a twist, Lindsay hasn't seen Selling Sunset, and I've seen every episode. And I love Selling Sunset so much, and they cannot release enough Selling Sunset. And I watched the entire 3rd season like over the weekend, and it's incredible. I'm going to explain to Lindsay who all the cast members of Selling Sunset are. I think that could be fun. I could explain the who's. My least favorite cast member, yes, is Davina. Lindsay.
Okay, but I am putting a time limit on you. You do not get more than like a minute on this one.
2
minutes.
2 minutes
on
for
this.
about. Okay. Davina, she's the devil. We have no idea how old she is. She says she's 30, but it's also like sus. It's like you kind of seem like you're the oldest person here, but she's not. She believes there are 2 sides to every story, which is the big problem. Whenever Chrishell and Justin Hartley got divorced, everyone was like, we're Team Chrishell, like Justin sucks. And she was like, but what about Justin's side of the story? And everyone's like, you're a fucking monster. Christine did the same thing, but Christine is a little more entertaining. Then there's Mary. Mary has been married twice before. Her first husband died. Her second husband, they just broke up. She has a kid who's like kind of old because she had a kid young, and she's married to a guy named Romain. They got married last season. Romain is only 4 years older than her kid, which everyone thinks is weird, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Romain is kind of annoying, and I kind of question the fact like whether or not they've actually gotten married. Like I saw the wedding on television, but I'm sort of like, I don't know that it actually happened. Romain always hated Davina, and he was vindicated this season because Davina became the ultimate villain in this season in the final couple episodes. Like she became the ultimate villain. Then there's Heather, who we know as the current Mrs. about to be Tarek El Moussa. They're engaged. She's a floor model. She was like a Playboy playmate. She met Tarek in Newport Beach, California last 4th of July. They got engaged 3 months later. Really no issues with Heather. She could be a little annoying. She's very close to Christine. She helped her pick out her wedding dress. Chrishell, we know all about Chrishell. The funniest thing about Chrishell is whenever she broke up with Justin Hartley, and that whole storyline is like actually very sad. She goes to St. Louis to be with her family after Justin breaks up with her, and she is like best friends with her sister whose name is Shonda. And we all know Chrishell means she was delivered by a guy named Chris at a Shell station, or Chris helped her drive her to the hospital. Does Shonda mean Shonda was born at a Shell station in a Honda? I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. Then there's Amanda. We've talked about Amanda before. Christine is the one who gets the most attention because she's trying to play herself up as like the queen villain of this show. She's the one who got married at the goth wedding, who got coronavirus and may have given it to a lot of the other people at the wedding, even though I'm not sure coronavirus was going around LA at that time in like late December, early January, but whatever. She married like a tech millionaire who's like an MIT grad and whatever. She's from Dallas, Texas. But yes, the worst person is Davina. The end. How was that?
I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to get from that. Like, okay, great. I will say, like, it is shocking to me. I get it. I think it's probably because the show is back for a new season, which is why people are coming out of the woodwork to, like, say how much they love Selling Sunset or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, when we talked about Chrishell Station, it wasn't even her being on Selling Sunset wasn't even the main thing that we talked about. And now it seems like she's actually like the star of this quite popular reality show.
Yeah. Well, she's the star because she goes like the way that he divorces her, which is via text, is actually so fucked up. And I think it is truly rare for reality show cameras to catch a genuine traumatic moment for its cast members that is not scripted. Like Justin Hartley really pulled the rug out from under her. Like so much of the show is bullshit, but that is so authentic and it's jarring. And you can see the other women.
Also the 2 ways to fuck someone over a relationship, it's like cheating and texting to break up. Like there are, it's like there are only a number of very creative fucked up things that you can do to someone in terms of ending a relationship, and that really is on the list. Very Taylor Swift inspired, very old school breakup, just like over text. But also if you're married to someone and you break up with them over text, that's truly like the pits.
Well,
did you see his other ex-wife is coming out to defend him now?
He's
like
great.
He's
great.
That's how stupid this has gotten, is like because of the press of the show and people saying like, oh, it's so fucked up that he dumped her over text. I think he's called on the ex-wife who's still his friend, the other one, Lindsay, to come out and say, oh, he's a good person. And he's got a new girlfriend too.
I mean, maybe I'm being Evian backwards, but it really seems like everyone was shocked when it happened.
Okay, I have one more question before you keep on rambling about this show that no one is really watching. Just kidding. And you have to keep this short and sweet.
Okay.
Do they actually sell any houses?
This season is the most like real estate forward. They do a lot of house selling in this season.
But are these houses actually being sold in this economy? Like, are we checking on the listings of these houses? Are they real? Are they fake? Are they actually being sold or not?
It seems real. I think there's way more to it. I think they have like a little more, like they have like project managers involved. They have like other people involved. But yes, the houses are being sold. The house selling is a little more important in this season than it's been before. They do this like bell ringing thing now that I don't remember from the previous seasons. Like Amanda just sold her first house. Like the house selling is important. Also, don't forget this season was filmed late last year. So like the economy was still doing well. People were still buying houses.
You're right. And also I guess does this economy in that the way that we're saying that even affect this tier of people who are buying houses that are over $100 million or whatever?
Right.
No, probably, unfortunately not. Okay,
Yes.
Interesting. Will I watch this show? Probably. Will see. Seems compelling, but I am busy. I'm watching Potomac.
Yeah,
I'm busy.
me too. But the seasons are 4 hours long, you know? Like you're done in 4 hours.
We'll see.
Hi, Lindsay and Bobby, medium time, first time. First off, wanted to say I'm not exactly sure how I feel about Who Weekly becoming Food Weekly, but either way, now I want to go track down some peanut M&Ms. So there's that. Second, and the main reason I called, Keke Palmer just posed the question on Twitter that if she were to create a millennial version of The View, who people would want to see as her co-host, and was wondering if y'all could weigh in on this topic. Anyways, crunch, crunch, women do belong in balloons.
I love Keke. We all know this, but she really wants that talk show back. She really misses the format, I think, because like she got the show with Michael and whoever. Michael and who's the third person in that?
Sarah, right?
She got the hour, she got the morning show, and then it got canceled. I think she knows that her time to shine as a host, and she's hosting the VMAs, which TBD on where, when, how, why, whatever. But she's hosting the VMAs. But I mean, she knows that she's talented at this, and she's looking for her shot. And so she's out here tweeting things like, "If I made the Millennial View, who would be on it?" Which I think is a perfect format for Keke. Perfect format for her. And why the fuck join the other shows when she could just do her own, right?
Exactly.
They're all flawed. They're all fucking flawed. Not that that's like hers would be flawed too, because the whole premise is asking for trouble.
Lindsay and I both created our lists of people. I think we both did exclusively women.
I don't recognize, if we're talking the Millennial View, I don't recognize men as part of the Millennial View. Although Keke did respond to a tweet that said she would include men in her View casting. But I personally am choosing not to recognize men on my lineup.
Who wants to go first? I don't care.
I'll go first.
Okay. I feel like there's going to be some overlap and then a lot of like surprises.
Okay, well, I was trying to, first of all, I was looking through like Who Weekly names. Like I was thinking like for our show's purpose, like the people that we talk about, who's, and I was also thinking realistically, yes, we would love A-list talent on this panel, but I'm trying to think of people that actually would fit in and want to do a daily talk show. And like, and then also kind of like a diversity of opinions, right? Like you have to have your mommy, and you have to have your like this one from YouTube, or maybe that, because we're talking about millennials, so we have to represent the full scale of like millennial interests. So here's my list, and I have a few like X or X or X, because I think like they're all kind of, it would be kind of like on the same line. Okay, so Keke Palmer would be number one. I see her as kind of the Whoopi of the table, meaning like the kind of control, kind of the what do you call it? Who's the
mama bear?
Who does the flight controller? What do you call that person who controls the flights? Who's like the calling the shots on the flights?
I feel like the flight controller. She's the Barbara Walters, the Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, that's who she is.
Exactly. Yeah. So Keke is that, and then I would honestly think, and I don't love her, but a great position for Priyanka Chopra, a perfect spot for Priyanka Chopra to do.
Didn't think about her, but that's good. Just to talk.
She's the right age. It's exactly what she wants to do. She's involved with enough stuff. I think it would be a great fit for her. Then I'm saying we need a comedian. We need somebody funny. Nicole Byers. Funny jokes.
I considered her, and I was like, I'm not going to put her in, but yes.
Okay, now we need somebody who is like kind of an activist, smart, young. Yara Shahidi. Talented.
Yep.
I think she would do it, maybe not. I think that I don't really know enough about her to know whether she would do it, but I think she'd be great. Then we need kind of like a crazy person, and I know this is obvious, but I really actually think Bella Thorne would be good. Like if she would show up and do it, I do think that she has like, she's got that earthy, crunchy thing. Another person who would do really well in this, I think, would be Paris Jackson, who I know really doesn't speak that often, but has like a give peace a chance vibe that I think would be good. Or Shailene Woodley, who I also don't know if she would do this, but don't you think you need somebody who's like, I let my kids eat clay, or like whatever. You need that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Eva Marie Martino type.
I had her in and then I took her out because I was like, we need a millennial mom. But
You do need a millennial mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm curious to see who you have. Let's take her out. And then I have either M. Rata or like Tavi Gevinson. You need like kind of a hipstery vibe, very liberal mind at the table. And then the one person though that I had a really hard time thinking of was you do need like a young Republican, not necessarily a conservative, but you do need like a young kind of Candace Cameron Bure type. Do you have one of those on yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your list? Okay, mine's probably not as good as yours.
Start with Keke Palmer. Okay, Keke Palmer. Yes. Keke Palmer. I did it in sort of like the lawful good, chaotic, whatever matrix. I tried to think of it in that way.
Yes, that's a great way to think of it. You don't need to. It does not need to be political spectrum at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got political eventually, but whatever, we'll get there.
Okay.
So, Keke Palmer. I have her in like lawful good. She's head of the table, right? Okay. Then I had Raven Simone. I have her as like true neutral. And I put her there because she has the experience. Like it's sort of like you need your two anchor tenants. It's sort of like
I didn't think of her because she's already done
it, but I think
this.
that's what makes her sort of uniquely qualified, right?
Also, she has great whoopee energy. Talk about a whoopee energy.
And she would never leave. You know, like you need your two people who will not leave, who will have to be pulled away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I started thinking like this is where this is my thought process. This is where the mom thing came in. I'm gonna show who I had and then I got rid of them. I was like, okay, we need someone funny. We need like a true comedian, and I was like, let's just like who's a millennial comedian that people can relate to, who's also not doing a whole lot right now, but people really respect and is really funny and capable. I thought Alana Glazer. Then I was I liked the idea of it, but then I took her away. Because I was like, Keke and Raven are really funny. We don't necessarily need a dedicated comedian. What do we need? Right. We need a mother.
You're right.
And which mother did I put in? Hilary Duff.
Oh, wait, I had her on mine. And then I had Haley Duff. And then I was like, no, Hilary Duff would actually do it at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, Hilary Duff would be great for this.
Hilary Duff. Then next up, I was like, okay, we need someone who's like good on camera.
Also, if we're talking about like millennials, like people who truly fit into the millennial canon, Hilary Duff is it because she is, and her entire audience is millennials who watch her show.
Those are the three top billed people of this show, right?
Okay, then who else?
That is like millennial culture. It's a little downhill. Yeah. It's just like things get a little wonky. Then we move on because it's like a little more niche. Then we move on. I saved the best for last though. Then I have three more because I have a 6-person table because the talk I realized was 6 people at first. Then we have, I'm not quite sure if she's right, but I wanted a celebrity chef. And celebrity chefs, like people who are good at cooking, who have a skill and are good on camera, but maybe not. I put Priya Krishna. Because I think Priya, over Bon Appetit, but always very good on camera. Maybe Priya's thing could be like doing other segments. Also like that's Priya's. I like that she has a niche, right? She's like a lawful neutral, but also sort of like.
Would Priya want to talk about though, like pop, like current topics? Maybe
she would have an interesting opinion on all of this. Okay, I'm sort of like the idea is that she's like the lawful neutral of the group, right?
Yeah. You also do really need, and this is no offense to Priya, who I'm a big fan of. You do need people who are a lot less famous than like you do. Like obviously you have your headliners, but you're not gonna hit it out of the park every time with quote unquote
They're
names.
Too expensive.
You also need more niche. That's why I'm saying the YouTube realm is a good place to go. Like maybe like
I also thought Rosanna Panzino, Nerdy
or
Nummies.
like Lily Singh. I know she has her own talk show already, but if that doesn't work out, like this would be a good place for her too. Or what, like people who like that type of vibe would be good.
Yeah, totally. But I think even if it's not Priya, like a Priya type, this niche, this cooking thing is very millennials love. Like Gen Z millennials, cooking is a whole thing. Okay, next up, and then here we go.
Like Priya cooks with X would be great as like a small segment
because you need to think about like the side segments,
right? Because they love to do like a breakout interview or whatever. Like it's not always at the table. That's true.
Okay, next up, we needed a chaotic neutral.
That's
I put Priya as lawful neutral, chaotic neutral. Who did I pick? Gigi Gorgeous.
Okay,
wild,
this is a stretch.
fully a wild card. Great at storytelling. Gigi, I think. What are Gigi's politics? Questionable, bordering on maybe a little bad. Right? We don't know.
Right.
But I think.
But Gigi's got a great point of view.
Gigi can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Gigi can talk about anything, and especially a
true.
unique point of view that none of the other women at the table can like, you know, speak to personally.
No, of course,
Great.
and just extreme wealth, and probably
Extreme
this would be but also this would be a great thing for her because like, what more could like this is like a great. Like, she doesn't need to work her way up. She's very comfortable, and this is a great way for exposure outside of YouTube. I really think, like, if you don't mind YouTube for this project, you're crazy because that's where, like, millennial culture
you're an
resides
idiot.
in a way.
You're a stupid idiot. But yeah, Gigi, no one's a better talker. Okay.
I think I was thinking bigger than you are. You're actually in the right realm of whatever. Can I add?
Then
Yeah, okay.
My last person, because I was like, okay, we need
You need a crazy person.
You need not crazy person, but you need someone who's going to get in heated arguments with everyone else.
Okay, who's that?
And I was also thinking, like, you know what? You need like a weird form of nepotism. Like, you think Meghan McCain like loves her daddy, right?
Yeah.
Who is a millennial who ticks the mommy box, who ticks the daddy nepotism box, who ticks extremely famous adjacent but not super famous herself box, and also
Catherine Schwarzenegger.
There we go. Ding 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 ding. I have her down as lawful
that's
evil, which
perfect.
also seems sort of mean, but Catherine Schwarzenegger, the last table.
I do think she wouldn't do it.
I think she would be intrigued. I think she would think that she could rise to the occasion, and after one season, she would say, "This is not for me." But she would get
Can
some
I add
good.
one person to yours who I think would really round it out in a good way? This is random, but I think the casting is right. Lala from Vanderpump Rules.
I don't know her well enough.
But you need like
Chaos.
that. I think she would be like a perfect, easy to cast because she would definitely do it. Chaos moment. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You need like a Bella Thorne energy person on the panel.
Yeah, you need
like,
a wrecking
I
ball.
had Tana from YouTube, but like she's canceled. But like
Tana's
Tana,
canceled.
like you need like because Gigi is actually she's YouTube, but she has self-respect. Like she's not out here like you need like kind of chaos to like get it moving. But yeah, you definitely need. You need a Catherine Schwarzenegger type, but I'm not sure she would do it. But I think that's the right person.
I think she would do it
Candace
once.
Cameron Bure of millennials.
Exactly. That's where my mind went too.
Eat your food, drink your water, girl. That girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Girl, wash your face. That's
Girl,
her.
wash your face. Oh God, forgot about her. She was a flash in the pan. A face in the
That's
pan.
her. Her name is her actual name is Rachel Hollis. But I think she is the kind like you need like you could have a good energy with like one of these kind of random self-helpy authors who's younger. A millennial self-helpy author could be a good energy. I'm just thinking of like who is the Candace Cameron Bure of this table. Maybe we don't even fucking need one, but like it is good to have like a mommy energy. Maybe one of the Hawk sisters because they're mommies. They might be good. Like the Kardashian and they're Kardashian adjacent.
They're kind of boring. The Hawk sisters are kind of boring.
Yeah. Anyways, please
I feel like
call us with suggestions.
I feel like we both thought of a really good tables. Those are good tables.
Hi, Lindsay and Bobby. Medium time. Why is Haley Joel Osment at Goldie Hawn's house when she's dancing to Hey Ya? She posted on Instagram. I know Goldie Hawn is a them, but Haley Joel Osment is a who, maybe, and their connection is a who. Anyway, yeah, that's my question.
Okay. We're going to keep this short and sweet. I was like, when I first saw this call, I downloaded it and didn't really do any research and just was like, what? And I Googled both their names, nothing. We got no connection.
Like, I'll look this up later.
I was like, oh, this is easy. I'm sure if I Google both their names, something will come up. They worked on something together. Why would he be at her birthday celebration or whatever? Nothing came up. I was like, interesting. I let it go for a sec. I came back to it. I'm doing all this Googling, Haley Joel, da-da-da. Finally, I'm like, okay, let me go look at what this person is probably talking about, the video.
Which should have been
or
step
the
one.
Evidence. Which should have been step one, but I don't know. Like I took your word as a truth, and so I go to the Instagram, and there's a video of Goldie Hawn in the kitchen dancing as she does the dishes. A classic Goldie
dancing
Instagram moment.
to Hey Ya.
Yes, and I start there, and I'm watching, and she dances over to this guy who looks over his shoulder and looks like Haley Joel Osment.
Looks
and I'm
just like Haley Joel Osment.
And I'm like doing a double take. I'm like, even if Haley Joel Osment was at her birthday party, which by the way, we're not really supposed to be having parties big enough to include people like Haley Joel Osment. Let's not even get there. Like, how is she this close to him that he would be in her kitchen with her, like doing the dishes? That feels like he's sleeping there. Like, that's unreal. So I do like I watch it again. I'm like, that just straight up is not Haley Joel Osment. Like, it looks like him, but I just don't think that's him. Like,
it looks so much like him.
I'm like, no. So I'm like, okay, who could that be? Well, I know that Goldie has 3 kids. She has Kate, she has Oliver, and then she has the other one. There's one more that she has.
The younger one, the hunkier one.
The younger one. Okay. No, Wyatt, Oliver, and Kate. And then I'm like, okay, so it's none of those.
Who's in The Woman in the Window, by the way? Who's in The Woman in the Window? He's the boy in the basement. He lives in her basement.
Wyatt is? Wyatt? Ugh, he's so good. He's very talented. Okay, so I'm like, okay, but I bet, and I didn't know this to be fact, I just was thinking, does Kurt have any other kids? Because, like, Goldie, I don't think was his first marriage, which is true, it was not. And he has one other kid.
They're not married
They're not, they're, okay,
They're
sorry.
iconically not married.
But he has an ex-wife that he was married to once.
2.
Oh my God, really? So he has one other kid, I'm pretty sure. Does he have, he has one other kid whose name is Boston Russell. Okay?
Excuse me, he only has one ex-wife. I'm sorry, he only has one ex-wife. I was wrong.
Okay, that's what I thought. And I'm like, oh, and I look up Boston Russell, and Boston Russell looks exactly like Haley Joel Osment. Not for his entire life, but in this video for sure. I mean, he's on a Haley Joel Osment spectrum, but I wouldn't say that they're like twins. But he definitely looks
like shaggy white slacker vibe.
He looks like a different version of Kurt Russell than his brothers do, I will say. Yeah. So that's the answer to your question.
Yeah,
it's not Haley Joel Osment. That's not Haley Joel Osment.
Hi, Lindsay Bobby. Does Prince Harry know what Microsoft Excel is? Crunch, crunch.
Is there a reason this question was asked? Or is it just like a funny question? I'm actually like, did I miss a conversation about this? No, right? It's just a funny question. Right?
No, I don't think this has context.
Okay.
I think this is just like has Prince Harry, the implication here is, has Prince Harry done any work in his life? Mm-hmm. And I think the answer to that is no, but also I think the answer to that is, there's nuance here. We asked Shawnee,
resident
Royals expert. We asked her over text, and she actually, I thought she was going to be like, LOL, no, but she actually said yes, because she just read the iconic Meghan and Harry book, Finding Freedom.
She spent the past few days reading Finding Freedom. She probably read it in like a full day and was like, I hate this book. And then an hour later, she was like, guys, I love this book.
But the reason behind her saying yes, which I think was incredible and really is a testament to Shawnee's close reading skills, is that there is a part of the book that she sent us an excerpt where it says, Harry and Meghan planned to keep working during their stay in Canada. They had a lot on their to-do list, including finishing setting up their nonprofit organization and continuing to advocate for the charities that they were royal patrons of back home. But somehow it all felt easier to do in the Canadian estate's wood-paneled study that looked out over the manicured grounds, white spruce and birch trees, even if in reality they usually wound up working in the kitchen, leaving their MacBooks to make cups of tea or coffee. Okay, stop there. Shawnee's recognize that reference to being like, Prince Harry has used a laptop. They each have MacBooks. He's used a computer to do organization for charity work. So she's like, he probably is using Excel.
Yeah.
My argument is like,
maybe he's using Google Sheets, but
okay, but like let's say Excel is shorthand for any type of like spreadsheet software. Mm-hmm. He's definitely probably used it. Also, didn't he go to college? Like, you have to do that in college.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He used Excel. Yeah. He's used a computer. Okay. He's in, if you are doing like organizational work, you are using a spreadsheet. Like, you have to. At some point, a spreadsheet will be sent to you. He knows
well,
what Excel
also,
is.
yeah. And side note, for all of the patrons out there, or maybe the people who would love to be a Patreon, who are considering Patreoning, who would love a patronage with us, we are definitely going to be reading this book, I've decided, and talking about it because I think there's a lot here, and it's perfect, and it's fun, and we're doing it.
And it's perfect, and it's perfect, and it's fun. Okay, let's play a game of Who or Them. Speaking of perfect and fun, okay. I slept in a terrible bed at one of our dates this story. I won't reveal where it was because I don't want to be super rude, but the bed was absolutely horrendous. Big dip in the middle. I was always like rolling into the center. It was so bad. My back hurt so bad when I woke up. And guess what? When I got home, my favorite part of being home was getting in bed.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were like back into my
Finally,
mattress.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a real bed that was chosen for me based on a quiz, the Helix quiz.
Right. And sometimes when people use my mattress, they're like, that's a little soft. And I'm like, yeah, it's made for me, not for you.
For you.
Which actually even drives home the fact that it's so made for me. You know what I mean? I kind of relish in the I mean, I don't want my friends to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, I kind of am like celebrating the fact that it's like for my body, not for yours.
I just sleep so much better on my own mattress than literally any other mattress. And that's because Helix mattresses rock. I wake up, my back doesn't hurt. I wake up, I don't have night sweats. I wake up and I'm thrilled. I wake up and I say, I love you, Helix.
That's
so
incredible.
If you want to experience the joy that I experience every
time
I get in bed,
the
and every time I get out of bed, you should go to helixsleep.com/who because you will get 25% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. Plus, get a free bedding bundle, which includes 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order at helixsleep.com/who. That's helixsleep.com/who.
Hello. Is Hype Williams around and doing stuff? And is he a Who or Them? And extra credit, can you find a really great like long form article about him and the music videos he directed? Thank you.
I could not. Well, here's answer to your last question first. We'll actually answer all your questions backwards. I couldn't find a long form profile of Hype Williams, and I was shocked. Like,
it feels like it would be like on the Ringer or like a Rolling Stone thing. That's surprising.
It's nowhere. If honestly, if someone else can find one, let me know. I could not find one anywhere. It was wild.
Would you argue that he is the most famous music video director in terms of like,
no,
if you were to like name a music video director?
I would probably argue that it was like David Fincher.
No, not somebody who went to something else. Somebody
who only did
music video directing.
Yes. Oh, then yes. But I think that's the reason that he didn't get that profile, because he was like, I'm going to choose to keep doing this, which I really, number one, respect. And number two, I think it made him a little more obscure. Maybe that's what he wants. People in the know are still like, I want Hype Williams to direct my music video. Like, he's gotten a little shaky. He's still
like, he
directing
directed
stuff.
a lot of Beyonce stuff. He directed
he directed a Megan Thee
thing.
Stallion video last year.
Right.
You know, like, he's still an in-demand music video director with good reason. But whenever you choose not to do that, like, transition the way that like David Fincher did or Spike Jonze did or whoever, you just kind of stay there. Hype Williams, if you don't know who Hype Williams is, like he basically is the reason music looks the way it looks, or looked the way it looks in the late 90s and the early 2000s. That's all Hype Williams. Hype Williams decided these things for all of us.
But also the reason why music videos looked as expensive and big as they did at a certain point in time and made music videos important, because that's because of him. Like,
yes.
He wasn't the beginning of music videos, but he certainly made music videos as important to like film almost, and like as a movie or as a TV show, like something that people genuinely looked to and genuinely spent a lot of money on. Because when MTV launched, remember the whole thing, like they didn't have any videos and they were like paying artists to like make videos because just to fill the airtime. It's like it wasn't an important thing, and he, along with other people as well. You know, it's funny. Last night I was obviously scrolling TikTok as I was falling asleep, and there was a TikTok that just came up, and it was like Hype Williams videos, and somebody took a cheese grater, you know, like the middle of a cheese grater, and made it the background, and then green screened themselves dancing around in the middle of the cheese grater. And I was like,
funny.
this is great. That's a reference to like the puffy videos of the aughts, you know.
being reminded of all of the music videos that he directed will completely fuck you up. Like, you have to go to the list of his, like, I can't even read all of them because there's too many, but...
Well, I will say, though, one thing, though. I could not pick him out of a lineup. Could not tell you what he looked like.
Absolutely not.
A totally iconic name, could not tell you what he looked like.
Someone who is talented, please write a profile of Hype Williams that's 20,000 words long. If anyone deserves it, it's him.
I feel like it exists. I feel like that's crazy. Whatever. Maybe
it's
I don't
wild.
know. That
I
feels like
couldn't
a
find
really big oversight to not. Anyways.
It's either an oversight or maybe he's someone who doesn't like doing interviews. That could be.
Or maybe
the
you
thing.
just couldn't find it online. Maybe it did exist in a magazine at some point and like
maybe
never
it was
got
in a print
like
magazine.
digitized.
Maybe it was in a print magazine.
But then again, there should be one like recently. People are so into
Yeah.
nostalgic shit. Like it's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay, well, enough
Next
media
call.
people listen to this. You can write it.
Long time. I'm sure you're annoyed with me calling all the time and leaving you dumb messages, but I have another one, so sorry. Okay, so, you play Who Are Them, but what about Who Are Not? Like, the name Alexis, I feel like there's, like, not a single famous person named Alexis besides, like, Alexis Bledel. Like, she's the only one. Name another famous Alexis, even if they're, like, a D-lister, I feel like that's, like, a non-name. What do you think? Or not?
You know who the first Alexis that came to my head after Alexis Bledel was Alexis Arquette,
Rose.
who is dead, which is sad. Rest in peace.
Yeah, but you're right. And then Alexis Bledel, Alexis Arquette, Alexis Rose, who was
Alexis
a fictional character
Ohanian?
from Schitt's Creek.
Serena's husband, Mrs.
Serena's
Williams,
husband,
Mr. Williams.
Only famous because he's married to Serena. Well, he
Yeah.
started Reddit, but like that's not important.
Who cares?
Who gives a shit? And then the other one, which you would not know, is Alexis Mateo, who's a drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race, who's pretty.
Alexis
pretty up there.
Nyers. Alexis
Oh my God,
Nyers.
Alexis Nyers from Bling Ring, from the Bling Ring.
Who Z-Way just interviewed on her show. Alexis Nyers was like, I'm so left wing. I'm so left. I'm so
I love
left.
her. So that right? Are there any other famous Alexises? I don't know. Or Alexis Ren? Oh my God, you're right. For younger generation.
Oh,
Alexis
younger
Ren.
generation.
The hot girl influencer.
We
Alexis
always
Ren.
almost talk about Alexis Ren and then we don't. Wow.
We have before though. She just comes up a lot, and I'm like, we've already talked about her, and she's boring, so we're not going to be doing that anymore.
Mhm.
Are there any other like younger notable Alexis that we're missing out on? I'm not sure there are. Hold on. Alexis Denisoff from Buffy. No one cares, but he is married to what's her face, Willow from Buffy. What's her face.
Alexis Danson is Ted Danson's daughter.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Alexis
35 years
Sky,
old.
who's from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not more influencer type, but she is on Love and Hip Hop.
Okay.
Alexis
that counts.
Sky.
Reality stars real. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are your
maybe we're
Alexises.
missing people.
Alexi.
Yeah, it's true. But it's so weird that Alexis Bledel is the most famous Alexis, if that's what we're talking about. I'm not
It's
even.
very-
I don't
like
believe
that.
it.
I don't like that.
Right.
I
You don't like it
that.
either.
I don't like it a lot. Although I do really want to rewatch the Sister of the Traveling Pants movies, but that's for another
Oh,
show.
that's a given. That's a given. You got to do that.
Hi, Lindsay and Bobby. First time, medium time. I'm calling to share my experience of name blindness. I continue to confuse Tracy Lords and Tracy Letts. I'm also curious about the who status of both of them. Love the show. Crunch, crunch. Bye.
Two Who's, very different realms. Tracy Letts, theater them. Tracy Lords, porn them. Otherwise, pretty hooey, no?
Yes, Tracy Letts. Who are them? 1, 2, 3. Who? But prestige.
Very behind the scenes, very prestige. Love him to death.
It all goes back to
Really
Woman in the
do.
Window. He wrote the screenplay for Woman in the Window. Test audiences
Husband
hated
of
his
Carrie
ending.
Coon.
Husband of Carrie Coon. Tony Award-winning playwright.
Apparently, also Tracy Lords is coming up because there's a new podcast about
Yes.
Tracy Lords that I'm pretty sure people are listening.
That's
to.
done by our daddies, our mommies and daddies at Cadence 13. It's true.
That's true. Like they do give us allowance.
I know.
They do pay us.
Cadence 13. They give us
They
allowance.
find these Quip ads. They call Quip and they're like, "Hey."
The show is
for us.
called Once Upon a Time in the Valley, a real-life noir, and it's about the story of Tracy Lords.
Who I don't know really anything about.
Either. I subscribe to the podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. Our mommies and daddies at Cadence 13 said the podcast is great. But yeah, they're both who's, I think.
Hi, Lindsay Bobby. So on last episode, you were talking about Vincent D'Onofrio, who is obviously main character star of Law & Order Criminal Intent, which I feel like is just like worldly consensus. The bottom of Law & Order, maybe Law & Order LA is below them. Discuss, maybe. But that led me to think, who is the themiest and who is the whoiest of the Law & Order franchises? So we have like Law & Order SVU, Law & Order Criminal Intent, Law & Order Los Angeles, which is short-lived. And then, of course, we'll have the new spinoff with Elliot Stabler, because I feel like it's a very tight race between SVU and just regular Law & Order for who is like the definitive like them of the Law & Order cinematic universe. Thank you very much. Crunch, crunch.
Great call.
Law & Order's who to them. I think this is kind of easy because I think it's like there are two thems, which you mentioned, and like the rest are kind of who's, or like maybe three thems or something.
I think there's three thems, and then the rest are who's.
So Law & Order SVU, or SUV as I've called it in the past, is definitely, I think, number one, even above the original Law & Order. Sorry, I think it took over. I think it had a bigger star. It had more stars towards it. It's more relevant right now. Like it's the one that people know the most currently.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Law & Order SVU is number one Law & Order. Yes.
Right.
Then
and
Law
then
& Order.
Then Law & Order is number one.
Law & Order.
Then Criminal Intent.
Mm-hmm. Which, do you know, like Law & Order SVU, we know what SVU is. Do you know what Criminal Intent is?
I weirdly don't.
Me either.
It like
I had to
gangs?
look it up.
Is it like mafia? Like, what is it? Is it...
Criminal Intent follows the NYPD Manhattan Major Case Squad, a force of detectives who investigate high-profile cases involving VIPs, local government officials, and employees the financial industry. So it's like fancy pants people have crimes committed against them.
And your biggest stars in that one really are Vincent D'Onofrio. Like, no one else really had a breakout from that.
It's starring Sean Penn's father-in-law. Yes.
So it's funny. The only current Law & Order on air is SUV. Sorry, SVU.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that on purpose. Interesting. Okay.
Did you hear me say that Vincent D'Onofrio is Sean Penn's father-in-law? Think about that.
No, trust me. I've been digesting that. So after launch, so the other ones we have, I would say, Trial by Jury was a big one. It had Jerry Orbach on it, which was like.
Was short,
I think
though.
This was his spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
BB Newworth was also on it. Very weird. It ended in 2006. Very old. Law & Order LA, which was later, only was for 1 year. There really wasn't a star of this. I can't even.
Yeah, and then True Crime is their take on American Crime Story. So it's like each season it's a story.
But it is on hiatus. Right, it will be back. They're claiming it will be back. They did the Menendez brothers.
Which apparently was good.
Right.
Edie Falco was in it.
It's a smart one. And do you know that they're coming out, they just announced Organized Crime, speaking of mafia. And it's Chris Maloney's spinoff.
Great.
He's going to do mafia stuff. And then we have Law & Order Hate Crimes. Which is
triggering.
A Peacock is going to be truly,
yeah.
And it's going to be on Peacock. And I don't think they've announced who's going to be in it, but it is. They gave it a 13 episode order.
Okay, cool. And is that where we end today? Do we want to do the who's and thems of Candy? No, let's not do that.
Let's
take a day off. Let's take a week off from starting a new conversation about food. I'm sure one will just come up organically next week. But
yeah, let's
take the week off.
Let's refrain from talking about food this week.
Okay. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who's There, our weekly call-in show. Call in at 619-WHO-THEM to leave questions, comments, and concerns. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Support us on patreon.com/Who Weekly for twice weekly bonus episodes. That's been a whole lot of fun. And also keep listening to the Call You're Doing Amazing Sweeties. We have some like silly ones, and then after the silly ones,
well, I gotta say to everyone who called about Connecticut, sorry you didn't make the cut. Not one good call. Not one usable call about Connecticut.
We got a lot of people explaining that like rich people live in Connecticut and then commute into New York, and I was like, sweetie, that's not what I asked.
But also, sweetie, we live here. That's like the one thing we do know about Connecticut.
Moving on, we're done. Thanks again for listening. This is so much fun. Yet again, we recorded for over 2 hours, and yet again, we had to cut it down. Congrats to Lindsay. We had an under an hour long show on Tuesday for the first time in God knows how long.
Because it wasn't that good, so I had to edit it down to get it to be good. But yes, thank you so much. I did edit it down. It was
did a great job.
Ended up being about 50 minutes. Very rare for us to keep things under an hour.
You did a
Will
great
you be able to do it with this show? I don't know. I don't think so. It's a good show.
You did a great job. Okay, bye everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Hey. Hey. I want to be famous.
Hi, Lindsay Bobby. Long time. I just had to pause the podcast to let you know that my dead grandmother is buried in Connecticut. Okay, crunch, crunch, me in Connecticut.
I know I'm an outlier, but I really like the white chocolate M&Ms. They're pretty good. Crunch, crunch. I'm calling because I saw the Jordan Sparks meme, and I thought it was an Old Navy commercial. I had no idea it was a real song. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Women do belong in balloons. Leanne Cuisine. Bye.
R.I.P. to E-News. Thanks for the memes. You put me to sleep in my studio apartment after college, after breaking up with my college boyfriend, as your closing remarks would lead off to Chelsea. What was that show called? Lately. Anyways, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Jason. R.I.P. News. Hello, I just called, but I'm calling again because I think Chelsea Lately would go first, and then it would be E-News. So I just had to clarify that. But thank you, E-News, for keeping me up to date on all things pop culture. R.I.P. Bye-bye. Crunch, crunch.
Hi, long time. I do actually have a story about E-News, a fond memory, if you will, that you probably won't play because this isn't really that interesting, but it was a highlight of my little 2013 life. As we all know, the internet was a much different place in 2013, and I used to occasionally watch E-News, as many of us did, and one day Jason Kennedy said something really rude about Britney Spears, and I am a diehard Britney stan, will defend her till my dying day. And I don't even remember really what he said, but apparently they had a segment on there back then where they would, fill time by reading viewer tweets, and the other co-host read my tweet where I called Jason Kennedy out for being rude to Britney Spears, and he actually apologized on air for being rude, and a bunch of my friends saw this and were sending me videos of it because I happened to not see it. So that is my crowning glory of the one time that my tweet was read on E-News. Anyway, crunch, crunch, good form, Bella Thorne, 6 eyes, and wearing masks saves lives. Bye.
E-News memories. I grew up in the deep south with not a lot to do. So in the summer times, I hated summer before school. TV would structure my days, and 6 p.m. was when E-News would pop on, and then that's really what got me into entertainment stuff. But my main memory I have of E-News at that time was that I thought that Juliana Dependi at the time and Mariska Hargitay were the same person. I don't know. I don't know. I just thought that this woman had range, I guess. Okay, bye.
Hey, Bobby and Lindsay. Bobby asked for our favorite E-News memories, and I don't know if this counts as an E-News, the show E-News memory, but I am obsessed with that one interview with Jim Carrey at New York Fashion Week. I think it's with Kat Sadler, and her face the whole time is just horrified because he's like, "We don't exist. You're not real. what is an icon? I don't believe in you and stuff like that. And it's just beautiful. Crunch, crunch. Good for Bella Thorne.
I just had to call with my cherished memories of news. I'll never forget coming home from school on February 8th, 2007, and finding out my beloved Anna Nicole Smith had died, and I watched E! News for however long it was on, and I just seared in my memory. So R.I.P. Anna Nicole Smith, Queen Who, crunch crunch.
Okay, so this is kind of a crude message, but is the Red Sangria song about going down on a woman who's on her period? I'm just wondering. Okay, bye.